welcome inside the Red Earth Production Studios for another edition of YBMcast, powered by Game 7 Baseball, game7baseball.com. Go to the website, get all the information. If you still are looking for some tournaments, if you're maybe you want to get ready for a tournament, you need to go and check out some of the teams you're getting ready to play, go do that. All the information's there on the website. You can set yourself up for success. Find out who you're playing in the upcoming tournament that way as well. World Series, July. We're looking forward to that. We have upcoming. We're going to be at the Mother's Day tournament. That's the next one for Youth Baseball Midwest. We're going to be out there with the cameras. We're going to be live streaming the championship game. Hopefully we have enough bandwidth to do that, because I believe that one's at Ozzie Smith's complex, and we'll just have to wait and see. We'll see. We're hoping to do that. So, as always on the show today, I got my buddy Mitch Thomas, bit under the weather, so he stayed home, which is fine with me. But we do have him on the YBMcast web link. Mitch, how you doing, man?
I am good, sir. I am giving you a air fist bump as normal. You know, I try to give that to you through the through this, but for whatever reason, my camera doesn't work, and I'm not sure all the people out there want to see the ugly mug anyway. So I'm doing okay, man. I'm not sure if it's allergies. You know, obviously coaching high school baseball, I'm outside. It's been windy. It's been kind of kicking my butt and been stressed out. So I think a lot of it has to do with I just need to have a good night of sleep, rest, and I'll work through it. But I thought it was best kind of stay home. But I'm glad I'm glad I could get on the show and keep our routine down, because I love talking youth baseball, especially in the area, since I have a team in this in this group, and we play a lot of Game 7. And I'm excited for that Mother's Day tournament. By the way, I was able to get into that event as we talked about last week, and I'm pretty excited for it. There's a lot of good teams in it, so I'm gonna try to get the boys prepared, ready to rock for that event. Hopefully the rain's away. My gosh.
Well, you know, it's so far it's a pretty wet spring, but it's dampened, you know, some of the scheduling, but we've still been able to play. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. I think most of the rain has been in the middle of the week versus kind of the weekends. And, you know, as a high school coach, it's frustrating, you know, to try to stay sharp and stuff. So I got a little bit of mixtures of everything. I wear a couple of different hats. And so, like I said, it's just stressful right now with coaching softball, baseball, and in high school baseball. But I am having a blast coaching the different personalities. So thanks for making this happen so we can at least do our show.
Absolutely. And two, you know, we're doing our GAC game of the week. You're an assistant coach at Timberland, and we're going to have Timberland and Zumwalt West on the GAC game of the week next Tuesday out at Fort Zumwalt West. What are you expecting out there, bro?
We're reeling a little bit right now. So we're going through a little bump in the road for us. We're trying to rebuild our identity. So our focus right now is obviously Holt. We have Holt today at Holt, so that should be an exciting crowd, huge rivalry. So you know, we're focused on what we can control inside of our dugout. You know, we gave the young fellas a opportunity to kind of police themselves, and we got to a certain point where we had to step in as coaches and make sure we maintain culture and maintain structure. And so we had a really good practice yesterday. We were able to get on our field. We were able to have a full practice. I think the fellas loved it. We had some conversation. We had some tough conversations. And so I think we're going to be prepared. You know, we had lost 2 to House Central, which that team is a very well-coached group. They control what they can control. They stay within their dugout, which was, you know, again, well-coached. And we actually lost 2 to Hannibal. And, you know, going into that, obviously, as a large school, you feel that you should go out there and maybe, you know, put a little beat down on them, but they put it to us. They came prepared. I mean, they were off the bus at like 8:30 a.m., ready to hit, ready to rock and roll, and we kind of took it a little bit for granted. And their pitchers dealt. I mean, we scored 12 runs or something like that in the 2 games, and so you think with our pitching staff, we should have been able to manage that and win ball games, but we did not. So we're looking forward to West. Obviously, it's a very tough conference, but Holt's on the agenda, and that's our goal, is to beat Holt.
There you go. I understand that. Taking one game at a time. I'm the guy on the other side that is always looking ahead, right?
Oh yeah, well, I mean, who doesn't love a good game? I mean, at the end of the day, like, this conference is so much fun that no matter what game you choose to do the game of the week for the GACs, you're going to have a good time and watch a really good ball team. Every team has 2 really good arms that they can throw out there and beat anybody in this conference. And then the relief pitching, it comes down to hitting and defense, obviously. And those are you have to score runs and you have to prevent runs. And all these pitchers, even who throw gas, can get hit, and they walk people. And so you cannot make mistakes in the field if you're going to lose a ball game, from 1 to 2 errors a game. So anybody that's out there, go watch, especially if the 14U age group, which we're going to talk about, you have to get out and watch these high schools play to know what your athlete is facing at these programs, because they're legit.
And just to finish up on his point, the GAC, South, Central, North, doesn't matter. These are all really quality schools. And if you have a little hiccup, it's like you said, you lost 2 to Central. How Central, Coach Beckman has done a great job over there. He's getting his team comes out and fights. They've been competing early on in this season. And like you said, if you're not prepared fully, you'll end up maybe getting your lunch ate a little bit in this conference. So
oh yeah, we did. I mean, that's us coaching, the coaching staff put that on us a little bit too. I mean, obviously the players control some of that outcome.
Sure.
But we can prepare better as coaches, and so that's what was asked. That's what we did, and so I'm hoping for the recovery, and I'm glad it's this part of the season and not the end.
Yeah, exactly. So we're looking forward to it, but let's get into this. We're early in the season. We're a month in, right? To the spring season for youth baseball. And I'm looking at, and this is what I do. I'm going off of this. We're looking at the rankings at the 14U. We're just going to pull up Missouri to start with. And we're looking at this. And sitting atop this, because we've been looking at these teams, is Gas House, Coach Basta's team. They're 15-4 on the season. They've been in the couple championship. Have been a few. They've won 1 and lost 2. That's a really good baseball team, isn't it?
It is. And like I said, I'll say this all the time. When I get a chance to watch those athletes work out in our facility, you don't get a real gauge of what that team really is. And then getting outside and watching them, it's like, man, they really have it together. And going back to just again, how long has the group played together?
Mm-hmm.
How long has these boys have been around each other to compete? So I am I'm excited to kind of see this 14U age group moving forward. I mean, this is an exciting group. I know that Coach Hills, I guess the 14U rankings are all of 14U. Is that correct? So that includes major, AAA, all of it.
Yes, it's up and down the lineup. I didn't set any classification to this. So because the wow factor, they just played in that one tournament so far down there in Branson, but you got Coach Hill's squad PBA at 7-1-1, really good team there. And I'm sure there's some really good teams out there from the recruits, the Gators, and AAA major squads and whatnot. I'm just taking a look at this from what we've seen so far. Your hitting zone tribe team, Coach Nicodime, he's off to a good start. Played in some Game 7 stuff, 6-1-1 there. He's done a good job with that team.
He has. I mean, I know that he bumped his class up and I believe that's from the fall events that he had played.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know that he is participating in any summer events. I think he is
Okay.
competing in another sanction. But he is playing at a AAA level this year, and he's going to challenge his group. They did win Chesterfield's league
Okay.
tournament this just recently, so they're going to be a fun group to watch for sure. But I really like that Basta group, and obviously getting a chance to see them just routinely, um, they're impressive
Exactly.
to watch. I
Exactly.
mean, they got size. They again, ability is there, and I just they're well coached. Coach Basta, from just watching him, he does not have to do much. That team kind of is running itself. They know exactly what the expectations are, and again, fun to watch.
Well, then you're getting into the squads. You have a lot of these teams at 14U that are taking that next step and going, if they're AAA major. But again, I think this goes to situations where when you're talking about this type of thought process, we've talked about it on numerous occasions, double A, triple A. I just am to the point where some of this stuff to me gets a little carried away, and I think you can see a lot of teams for that are playing locally that are really good that may not go and push themselves out to these, I guess, what would you call national events, I guess it would be the best way to put it. Yes, no?
Maybe more of a region. Thinking about the Midwest region, Columbia, Kansas City. Obviously, Springfield has some really good baseball down there. The Cape area has some really good baseball, and so you're seeing guys staying local, which may be good.
Mm-hmm.
I look at when you start beating up your area, and then you're playing at the highest level in your area, you have to travel. I don't look at traveling as something other than trying to have a good time and facing some different competition. But if you're a group that goes 20-0 in St. Louis, you need to go to Columbia. You go 4-0 in Columbia, you need to go to Kansas City. You go 4-0 in Kansas City, you need to go to Chicago, Illinois, or Arkansas, or then you start progressing down south. And this, I think, happens over a period of years, to where if you start beating up these kids, you have to challenge these young people to keep them motivated, in my opinion. And it can go down as low as Craner Ritter's 10U team. I mean, how many times are we going to talk about that group and how good that group is? There's nobody in St. Louis. They're playing up to age groups and still beating people. Um, that team has to get out of this area. So they may end up becoming that national group based on the skill set if that team stays together. So I think traveling is always fun. I think it builds team bonding. You go out, you're doing dinners and lunches, and you're swimming and you're barbecuing. The parents are staying up late and hanging out in the parking lot. And I do think travel is fun, but I don't know that it's necessary because looking at just the 14U age group in general, it is really competitive. There is a lot of 500 ball clubs. There are just short of 500 or just over 500, and so every single weekend you have a chance to win. You're not going to go get blown out.
Right. Right.
So I'm really digging what we have for this age group in this area, especially at the 14U AA level.
And that's the thing. There are some really good double A level squads from, Premier Baseball Academy to the Gators to the Hitting Zone to Midland Baseball, the Midland Bandits, down to the recruits, down to the Gamers, the Adidas Athletics, the St. Louis Redbirds. I mean, there are so many good programs around you. If you can get into some competition pretty easily with some of these things. And to your point, we were talking about clutch baseball. We were talking. It was on the show the tournament wrap-up show with Dave Penning, he was talking about the Clutch as a group. All of their teams played up a division, an age level,
Yep.
and to challenge themselves. And I think two of them won. One was, and the other one was in the championship game. So I think there are ways to challenge your teams without having to travel too. So
Agree.
I think there's some opportunities there in that respect. I think it definitely keeps the cost in places where it's a little more affordable for families, and I think those are positive things. And I think you can, as you said, you can travel. It's bonding. It's great. It's a lot of fun. But I think there's some other things and factors and things you can do in the area, in your local and regional areas, to continue to challenge your teams. Correct?
I think so. I mean, looking at the roster of rankings, you have teams all over our area, and then again going to Jackson, going to Festus, you're going, into St. Louis. There is teams all over this state that you don't have to travel far to chase talent or to chase games.
Mm-hmm.
Again, just most of this is between Wentzville, Missouri, and Jefferson County, and a little bit east and a little bit north, and so it is there's a lot of competition in this age group, and you don't have to go far. If an hour drive is worth it, then great. Let's spend an hour driving. We'll have lunch after the game and we'll go home. And we'll do it all over again tomorrow, where you don't have to spend $400 or $500 on hotels in $200-300. Especially at this age. I mean, we're not getting recruited at 14 years old.
And yeah, exactly. And to your point, we've got just looking at Game 7 upcoming this weekend. St. Genevieve down in St. Gen, Missouri, great stuff. You got Knights, the Midwest Thunder, the Southeast Missouri Cardinals, who we saw this last weekend, or the last week when we were out. It was at the Show Me Slam. Won that 14U. That catcher there, I want to follow. Todd Turlington's team, their catcher, Carter Shipman, in the championship game had 2 doubles and a home run in that game, and threw out a kid stealing to third. Just really a great job behind the plate. That was a good. And then you had the young man that won the Preston Hinkabine, who won the top award. There it is. Boy, the gray hair ain't fooling nobody, bro. I'll tell you. And, I want to follow that team. I want to see how well they continue to do, Todd Turlington. And so you got those guys. You got the St. Louis Naturals and the St. Gen River Dogs in a 5-team tournament down there. That's going to be interesting as we look at those teams, right?
Yeah, and I mean, looking back at talking about that SEMO Cardinals team, some of that is a little misleading. They got a couple of losses on there, but they were playing a mostly AAA kind of group, at least the games that they lost. And so, that team is a really good, strong AA group. And so, look, again, going back to this, there's a ton of talent within 2 hours of St. Louis.
Mm-hmm.
A ton of talent. And, again, these kids aren't getting recruited. And to be quite honest with you, when you look at the rankings, I don't know that they mean as much as some people put into this, because, you have double point weekends. You might have 4 times points, to get it. And that's for your, maybe your seedings in your national tournaments and things like that, or your national events or your regional events or state events. And so, I don't necessarily put the wins and losses up there in the rankings. I'm looking at now watching these young men play and going, okay, I have a shot. They make some of the same mistakes we got. Oh, wow, that team is very good. They're sound fundamental. They look like they've been together a while. They're having a different kind of fun. That's a dangerous team. I don't look at these what I would consider the sexy stats, seeing the wins and losses and then the points, because like I said, you sign up for 4 times points and you're getting 200 points, 240 points by just signing, or it might be 160 for 4 times points, but um, I don't know how accurate you could say that based on some of the talent at that age group.
Yeah,
Obviously,
and
Costa's up there. He has played in a ton of tournaments so far. He deserves where he's at.
And the points, I agree with you. And Dave Penny will tell you, the both Schmidt and we were having that discussion. The points, that's a reward system for guys, and you do, and if you're winning a lot, you get more points. That's just the reality of it. So, and sometimes you'll get double points that might throw off, and people go, "Oh, how?" But then look at the record, and you'll understand and know. And then look at the type of competition they're playing. I think there's so many factors at this youth level. And just let's look at this out at Bridgeton, the super regional for the 14U. You got 12 teams this weekend out there, man. 314 Apaches, always a solid group at the AA. Edwardsville Spikes out of Edwardsville, Illinois. You got Enforcers Baseball. You got 2 teams coming down from Freeburg, Illinois. The Enforcers, and then you have Metro East Mavericks. And I believe the Metro East Mavericks won the Masters, I believe, or were in the championship game a weekend ago. So, you're going to see some good JC Independent. That's Jeff County out of Fenton, Missouri. Midwest Futures, Coach Ettinger's team. We saw them in the semifinal against Basta's Gas House group there at the Show Me Slam. Recruits Baseball, Coach Werner. Not sure I know anything really about that squad. St. Louis Browns, St. Louis Eagles. So you got 12 solid teams in this group.
Yeah, and I was looking for that Metro East team, the Metro East Mavericks, and they're not listed on here. That's a group that is pretty darn competitive as far as the rankings go. I'm not sure. Maybe they're non-sanctioned. I assume that when you sign up, you have to sanction.
Yeah.
Are they playing up?
No, they're 14 UAA.
Am I missing them? Because I honestly I don't see them, and that mid so that's a team that I feel they played in the championship tournament down in Branson with us, and I think that's an interesting group and team, and I feel that team could compete every single weekend. They throw a ton of strikes and they play good defense, and they have one young man that's a man child to me. He can you throw a baseball in a certain spot and he'll hit it 330 feet with no problem.
Well, and just as you
I
said,
like to watch.
Yeah, just as you said, they were in the spring ring classic with you were down there. You beat them 2-1. Your team beat them 2-1, right?
Yep.
That's what it says here. They lost to the Misfits. They come back and beat you guys 5-3, and then beat the Sticks 6-1 and lost to the Wow Factor in the championship game.
Yeah, they're a good team.
Yeah, so I mean, as you said, that's a group I'm interested to pay attention to. So again, I think the more we talk about some of these teams and we can bring some information in, this is what I want to do and see where we're at and talk a little bit more and get a little better feel for some of these squads, right?
Yeah, because that's like there's a couple of teams that were down there that I thought were pretty solid. One is that Sticks Hockle team, Hockle. I don't know. I hope I said his name correctly. And that Metro East Mavericks. And if you just look at that event, the Metro East team went 0-2 in that in pool play, and then obviously made it to the championship game in that bracket in the 14U age group down there. So maybe they saved their big arms for bracket and
Right.
But again, it's those, I went, and there was only 5 teams in that group. But you got to watch them play the game, and again, you're happy to see well coached groups, and they're there.
Right.
You have to trust that when you're going out there, that you're seeing at any point a double A team is going to compete with some of these triple A level teams. We faced a really talented lefty from the Wow Factor, and we were up 2-0 on that group early. We just faltered late with defense and ran out of pitching. So, it again, what classifies that team as a double A, triple A team? Is it the size? Is it the power? Their growth? Their maturity? Are they 6 months in front of the other kids? You see it in my group. I'm starting to learn that as kids hit growth spurts. Some of these kids are still 13 on my team, and they're yet to turn 14.
Right.
So I'm still dealing with a little bit of maturity issues with my group. They're barely finding their athleticism, and that Wow Factor team was clearly deep. That Metro East team was clearly deep to be able to make the runs that they are. Boston team I know is deep, with the talent that they have on there. That Illinois Gators team is deep, and you see in that they're making runs in every single event that they participate in. And what is making this a triple A versus double A kind of group, and it could be depth, the number of talent that you have on there. If you have 12 young men on that team, it could simply be the depth of that group
Yeah.
that allows them to play at the levels they are. And of course, they have to know each other, right? They have to be athletic. They have to have a certain desire to compete, and not everybody has that. But again, I just keep being excited about this age group because it's an age group that I'm going to continue to coach for the next 4 years till they graduate, and there is a ton of competition available for the second level of athletes, and we should not sleep on these groups. And I'm hoping that these clubs stay together, and you see, the ability, like there's 3 gas house groups at the 14U age group. I'm hoping that group stays together because they're all competitive.
Right.
And you have a few Gators that have 14Us. I'm hoping that they keep these teams together as we continue to progress through the age groups.
Absolutely. Mitch Thomas, thanks, man, for the knowledge. Looking forward to it. We got a great
I'm
weekend
trying.
coming up. Oh, yeah. We're going to keep working at this. We're going to be out. We got about 3 weekends in a row that we're going to be out at the ballpark. And from Mother's Day to the Midland Invitational, and I believe one right behind that we've got. We got Mother's Day, Midland Invitational, and the Armed Forces Day Classic. So there's some really good baseball, a lot of good 14U teams, and we're going to be talking about these squads. We're going to see a lot of stuff, a lot of these same squads, and we're going to be able to see how everybody shapes out. I think we're early in the season, and it'll be fun.
Heck yeah, we are. We're in some of these, so I'll see you quite often on the ball field. Hopefully, this time I can kind of work into where I can sit and chat in between games. Where our first weekend out, just the way everything landed, it was cold and kind of miserable that we didn't get a good chance to hang out and talk about some of these groups kind of live, or asking some of these young men additional questions. I have a blast playing for Dave and Dave. They run a really good tournament. They have a good group of umpires. The coaching staffs that I've seen out there so far, they're not big complainers. They're not rude. So it is it is a nice level of play for this double A age group.
Absolutely.
And I think that's the big part. Everybody has its little niche, and I believe that Game 7 has done a really good job of creating a competitive double A level where nobody is running away with every single weekend.
Yeah, I agree.
So if you got a 14U team, sign them up, get out there, get into an event if they're still open. our next event's Mother's Day, and then we run like 3 or 4 weekends in a row where I'll see you out there at the ball field. So this the month of May and early June is big for my 14U group, and I'll see heck of a lot more of these teams because every single weekend it's a new group that I haven't seen yet.
That'll be fun.
It is when I look at the who's coming list. Of course, there's a couple of regulars, right? But for the most part, it's all new teams, and so that is a fun feeling to be able to go out and play a Jeffco Express one weekend, to play Mora's Gas House group, which we haven't seen yet in live, but again, I am happy to have participated with Game 7, and for me it had nothing to do with the show. It had to do with the level of play that I thought we were going to be able to achieve, and I felt like Game 7 provided that for our group. It just so happens to be it's part of our show and sponsored, but I have a heck of a lot more respect for Dave and Dave getting to experience them and the things that they do behind the scenes, so that this show is kind of revealed over the last couple of weeks. So just a little shout out to Dave and Dave, and obviously Game 7 baseball.
I'm sure they appreciate it, man. They're going to be running all over this weekend. They got Tennessee, Kentucky, Illinois, and Missouri. They got like 350 teams scheduled this weekend coming up. So they're going to be rolling. Yeah. Guys, Mitch, thanks, man. Appreciate you jumping in. Feel better. All you pitchers, keep throwing strikes, and you hitters,
get them where they ain't.
There you go. He still got it. Like, subscribe. Everybody have a great day in the Lord, and we'll see you next time.